وأما الغلام فكان أبواه مؤمنين فخشينا أن يرهقهما طغيانا وكفرا فأردنا أن يبدلهما ربهما خيرا منه زكاة وأقرب رحما وأما الجدار فكان لغلامين يتيمين في المدينة وكان تحته كنز لهما وكان أبوهما صالحا فأراد ربك أن يبلغا أشدهما ويستخرجا كنزهما رحمة من ربك وما فعلته عن أمري ذلك تأويل ما لم تسطع عليه صبرا. So these are the verses that basically mark the end of the story of Al-Khadr alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam as well. It starts with, or we have who's going to read in English the translation first? Yalla Abdullah, come on.
The boat belonged to some needy people who made their living from the sea, and I damaged it because I knew that coming after them was a king who was seizing every serviceable boat by force. The young boy had parents who were people of faith, and so fearing he would trouble them through wickedness and disbelief, we wished that their Lord should give them another child, purer and more compassionate in his place. The wall belonged to two young orphans in the town, and there was a buried treasure beneath it belonging to them. Their father had been a righteous man, so your Lord intended them to reach maturity and then dig up their treasure as a mercy from your Lord. I did not do these things of my own accord. These are the explanations for those things you could not bear with patience.
He said, now explaining, Amma asked for what, telling him the explanation of what he did. Amma السفينة, the ship, فكانت لمساكين. It belonged to a miskin. Anybody knows what miskin means? What's the word miskin means? The person who just make enough. Is that what here that meant? As a matter of fact, miskin in this verse in particular means somebody who's poor, who's needy. It's equal to the word poor. Usually the word miskin carry the same meaning of poor, unless you bring them together. You say faqir and miskin. In this case, there is like a very specific meaning for each one of them. But if you said faqir, it means miskin. If you say miskin by itself, it means also faqir, needy. The word miskin comes, can anybody think of the root of it? Sakina, very good. Sakina, which it means? Which it means, Ammar? Tranquility. Sukoon, what's sukoon? Stationary, when you don't move, that's right, huh? Calm, you say don't move, that's right. So basically that's what it does. So what this has to do with person who is poor? Why the Arab will tell someone who's poor, have no money, calm, or like stationary status? Very good. Because he can't help himself anymore. He basically second, he did everything and he gave up, and just there is nothing coming. There's no income coming. He doesn't have a way to actively make money. That's why he became in sukoon. It's not making money. He make no income. He can't make an income for himself. So the Arab used the word masakin. So miskin, sahib qalil al-hila, the one who doesn't have ability to do things, okay, to make things. The person who doesn't know how to figure things out. That's why there is a hadith in Al-Tabarani, it says, miskinun rajulun lam ra'ata lah. The hadith in Al-Tabarani is miskin is a man who has no wife. Okay, so miskin, he can take care of himself, So that what miskin here means in this hadith. Anyway, وَكَانَ وَرَاءَهُمْ from behind them or after them. The word wara in Arabic language, it means behind you. That's right, wara. But I'll tell you something interesting about the word wara. Wara in Arabic, it could be also ahead of you. يسمونها أسماء الأضداد, which it give you the opposite meanings. It's one word have completely the opposite meaning. So you say shara, it means purchase or sell. Can use both ways. How do you tell the difference? The context. You read the full sentence. You understand what that word means. Okay, وشروه بثمن بخس. يعني باعوه بثمن بخس. They sell them for a cheap price. So this in Arabic language, very unique word called al-addad, which is carry the meaning and the opposite. That's why Ibn Mas'ud used to read this verse. وَأَمَّا السَّفِينَةَ فَكَانَتْ لِمَسَاكِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ فِي الْبَحْرِ فَأَرَدْتُ أَنْ أَعِيبَهَا وَكَانَ أَمَامَهُمْ مَلِكٌ يَأْخُذُ كُلَّ سَفِينَةٍ غَصْبًا. He said أَمَامَهُمْ, ahead of them. Okay, because it's basically the same meaning. And that's how Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh. Because they are traveling from one place to another. The place that they're going to, that's where the king is. So he's ahead of them, waiting for them. If he see the ship good, he would have taken from them. Okay? That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمِن وَرَائِهِمْ جَهَنَّمْ. Those people didn't cross the bridge and Jahannam behind them. Jahannam is ahead of them. So the word wara, it means ahead of them. Anyway, so this king take every good ship that he sees, he basically will take it away from the people. That's why there is a qira'ah, also one of the qira'ah, يَأْخُذُ كُلَّ سَفِينَةٍ صَالِحَةٍ غَصْبًا, or صَحِيحًا. He would take every sound ship. Okay? That's why he made that hall. And he called them masakin because it shows you how he cares for them. And also shows you the description of the word masakin shows you that those people who work on this ship need the ship. They cannot survive without it. So that's why he wants to save that ship, because it means everything for them. Because if he said, and he didn't describe them with maskana, let's say he said, and those people, you might say, okay, maybe they have another ship, let them take one. But those miskins, they have only one ship. That's why if he took it away, they will be in a great deal of hardship. So that's word miskin, give you even that image. The Quran didn't give you the details, but just the word miskin, unconsciously you start thinking about poor people, really in need, working hard, like this is the mean of their surviving, and somebody gonna take it. That's why saving it means saving their future. All these details were not mentioned, but you can figure it out by looking at the verse. As for the boy, وَأَمَّا الْغُلَامِ فَكَانَ أبواه مؤمنين. Ibn Abbas, when he used to read this verse, he used to say, وَأَمَّا الْغُلَامُ فَكَانَ كَافِرًا. He used to read it this way. He used to say, as for the ghulam, for the boy, he was a kafir. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith al-sahih, he said, إِنَّ الْغُلَامَ الَّذِي قَتَلَهُ الْخِضْرُ طُبِعَ كَافِرًا. He was created from day one kafir. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لو عاش, if he lived, لأرهق والديه طغيانا وكفرا. He would cause a great deal of transgression and kufr from his parents. How is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَكَانَ أَبَوَاهُ مُؤْمِنَيْن. His parents were believers. فَخَشِينَا. We feared that. Does Allah fear anything? So how come Allah said, we feared that He will cause that great deal of, or we feared that He would overburden them by transgression and disbelief. While Quran we use the word feared, خشينا. قال ابن عباس الخشية من الله هي العلم. When Allah say He fears something, He knows that this will happen. Because fear is a tense emotions, usually because you don't know what's gonna happen. That's why you get scared. I don't know how severe this will be. I don't know how exactly this will hurt me. I don't know how so the fear always about unknown. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His fearing for you is not coming from not knowing, for Him knowing exactly what happened. That's why it's not naqs fi haqqillah. It's not kamal. It's not the opposite of kamal. It's basically, he's basically feared that this is because he know 100% that this is going to happen. So he's basically don't want this to happen to you. That's why Ibn Abbas said, فَهُوَ عِلْمُ اللَّهِ. Or some others said, كَرَاهَةَ أَنْ يُرْهِقَ وَالِدَيْهِ كُفْرًا. يعني خشينا كرهنا. We don't want, we hate that he will cause this a great deal of overburden to his parents. Some ulama took completely another route. They said, the one who said khashina, we feared that he will overburden them by transgression and disbelief. The one who said that statement is Al-Khadr, not Allah. So Al-Khadr is the one who feared that. Al-Khadr was told that he's a disbeliever, so Al-Khadr was afraid that this will happen. You understand how the verse goes? So two ways of understanding the verse. And this is Ibn Atiyah said that because we feared is an explanation for the actions, okay? And it means fear. And he said that's will be the right thing to attribute it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's not really a problem either way. قال قتادة فرح أبواه لما ولد وحزنا عليه لما قتل. See, listen carefully to what Qatada said. He's a great scholar of Tafseer. He said, when this boy was born, the parents were very happy. When he was killed, they were very sad. But if he would live, that boy, he will destroy them. So Qatada said, so be always satisfied with qada'ullah, with what Allah decreed upon you. Because for them, they were sad for what Allah decreed upon them, which is the death. But they don't know that if he lived, he would cause a great deal of problem of kufr for them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever He decreed for the believer, even if you don't like it, there is so much goodness in it. Learn this from this incident. That's what Qatada radiallahu anh, rahimahullah said. So what that means, overburden them with transgressions and kufr. What that means? It means as he grow, their love for the boy will what? Grow as well. And when they see him on this false religion and this kufr, they will follow his footsteps. And they will agree in what he's doing. And they will support what he's doing. And that would lead them to leave Iman and to end up kuffar, like him. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was referring to when He was saying, فَخَشِينَا أَن يُرْهِقَهُمَا طُغْيَانًا وَكُفْرًا. Because their love and support of their sons, they will end up supporting all the evil things that he does. And they will end up supporting him and following his footsteps. And they will become kafir like them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to replace this boy with another child. طيب. There is like some other options or other opinions, but we're gonna just move on quickly. Here, if we say, if he's a child, how did Al-Khadr knows about this? Allah told him and informed him that. But if this boy was not, because I told you before, ghulam could be an adult. If he's an adult, okay, and he knows that this person deserved to be killed, and because he'd been killing people, he'd been terrorizing people and killing people, robbing people on the highways, as some scholars said that he used to do. So he deserved to be killed. So when he killed him, basically to protect the parents, because the parents would have, if they know, if they have the options, if he was to tell the parents, hey, he's supposed to be killed, the parents will say, no, save my son. And they will oppose the order of Allah, and they will reject the Sharia, the rules, just because they want to protect their sons. And that will lead them to kufr and rejection of the form of transgression, because they will reject the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأَرَدْنَا أَن يُبْدِلَهُمَا. We want them to be replaced with. We referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it is referred to Al-Khadir alayhi salam. Based on the first, khashina, we feared. If you refer to Allah, this will be from Allah as well. So here Al-Khadir just relating to Musa what Allah told him. أَيُّبْدِلَهُمَا. And there is another qira'ah, أَن يُبَدِّلَهُمَا. Same meaning, okay? Is it really the same meaning? Some said no. At-tabdil wal-badal is two different words. When you put shadda, tabdil and ibdal, there is two different. When you add that ta, there is two different words. What are they? They say at-tabdil is to change something, change the attributes of it. But it is in essence still exists. And al-ibdal is to change it completely or replace it with something completely different. Can anyone here tell me how this will help in understanding the verse? The two different qira'ah. If we say ayyubaddilahuma, comes from the word tabdil, which it means the essence remain, but you change the attribute. Okay? But yubdilahuma, give them something, replace them something else completely. I'll give you an example. I come to, what you driving, Abdullah? Camry. What year? 14. Okay. I come to Abdullah's Camry, 2014. And I come to the car, and I will make tabdil. I'll take this, old-looking rims that he has, and I put a new rims, and I put like a new color, and I add like stuff in it. That's called tabdil. So the car remained, but I changed many things in it. But it's still the Camry 2014. Or I go to, for example, Abu Hamra, and I said, what are you driving? That's hard to do. Mercedes, okay? He driving Mercedes. Then I said, you know what? I will make ibdal. You know what? You need to go down to earth a little bit. I'm going to give you, Bentley, okay? Or Maserati. So I change عين الشيء تغير. So I change it. I give him something completely different. You following? Okay. So the question here, how this will apply to this verse? What will be the different meanings you can derive from this, from the verse? أيبدلهما or يبدلهما? If it is tabdil, you keep the essence, but you change the quality. That means he replaced them with another boy. Ya salam alayk, Allah yaftah alayk. With another boy, but that boy, his attitude, mu'min, good, that's right. طيب إذا سلنا إبدال, he will replace the boy with girl. Another ayn, another, basically, like I replaced the car Mercedes with Bentley or like Maserati, So I changed that. That's why from this, some ulama said, Allah replaced them with a girl. You might say, where did come the word girl from? That's right. Where did he got the girl from? Because يبدلهما هو تغيير العين. You change the thing completely with something completely different. But another boy, based on the other qira'ah, you can understand that clearly. يبدله من التبديل, which it means it's the same thing but with different attributes. So it's another boy, but it's got different attributes. Anyway, what did he replace them with? أيبدلهما ربهما خيرا منه زكاة وأقرب رحمة. Did Allah speaks about the gender of the replacement? What did Allah describe that new child with? By showing the most important quality should be exist in a child or a human being, which is Iman. زكاة. الزكاة هي الصفاء، هي الإيمان، هي التزكية. The first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the boy, He said, so we intend that their Lord should substitute for them one better than him in purity and nearer to mercy. Because what makes you two things, your deen and your akhlaq, your manners. And Allah here give an example of the best things can be exist in your religiosity, which is the purity, the sincerity. That you are pure, sincere to Allah. And when it comes to dealing with people, the manners of dealing, mercy is one of the most important quality. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only mentioned what really matters the most. If someone have deen and have manners, it doesn't matter about a girl or boy, it doesn't make a difference. And that's so beautiful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned what really matter in the child, which is the purity of the heart, the iman, the taqwa, the tahara, the deen, as Ibn Abbas said, خيرا منه زكاة يعني عملا وصلاحا ودينا. All these three words, religiosity, and religiosity is pure, religion is pure, his action is pure, he is righteous. As Al-Farra said, رحمة وأقرب رحمة. Some ulama said, يعني he has so much mercy in his heart towards his parents. Another said, no, he is so kind to them. أوصل الرحم. He's very kind to the parents, very kind to his relative, very kind to his village that he used to, because the old one used to kill his village members and his neighbors. This man is the different story completely, or the new child. طيب. Then he said, وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارِ. As for the wall, it belonged to two orphan boys in the city, and there was beneath it a treasure for them, and their father had been righteous. So your Lord intend that they reach maturity and extract their treasure as a mercy from your Lord. And I didn't I did not do this from my own occurred. That is basically the interpretation of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have sent to me. This is, I'm doing what Allah ordered me to do, and this is the interpretation of what you couldn't handle or be patient with. So what is this wall? The wall that they saw it for two young orphans. The word orphan only referred to a child who didn't reach the age of puberty. So we don't call orphan an adult. لا يقال للبالغ يتيم. So if there is a 20 years old person, we don't call him orphan. Only someone who didn't reach the age of puberty, like not less than 15 years old. And also an orphan, the one who usually referred to the one who lost his mother. But it could be both, okay? Or anyway, then he said, as for the two orphans, okay, young orphans, they had this wall the orphans of the city. لغلامين يتيمين في المدينة city. Do you guys remember last week I told you? You remember when they first came to the city? What did Allah said about the city? Did He use the word city? What did He use? The word what? Anyone remember? Go back كده في الآيات. إيش الآية؟ أهل قرية. He said a village. But here he told it a city. So why one time, there's any difference between village and city? Which more praising? City more than just a village. That's right, village is downgrading. Allah downgraded them when He was talking about how stingy they were. But when He talked about that righteous man and these orphans, He upgraded them by saying city. It's a praise because it's a positive things that He's going to say now about them here. But the first one, it was a negative thing, the stingy. He downgraded them to a village. Anyway, so this city, basically these two orphans, they have a treasure. Some people said the treasure is books. هذا روي عن ابن عباس لكنه من طريق العوفي وهو كذاب. It's been narrated that Ibn Abbas said, and this is a narration has a liar, so there's no really proof for that at all. That been said also by Sa'id ibn Jubayr, books of knowledge. Allah knows best, but it doesn't seem to be that way. Why? Because in Arabic language, كنز هو المال المدفون. In Arabic language, you see كنز, treasure, it means money, gold that is hidden in the earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have protected this wealth of them which is underneath of that wall. So if the wall knocked down, and basically many people might come and it will expose the treasure. So they want to keep the treasure hidden, so they fixed that wall. Musa alayhi salam and Al-Khadir. Why? Because of the righteousness of their parents. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Their parents were righteous. That's why Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh said, Allah protect their wealth not because of the righteousness of the children, but because of the righteousness of the parents. فَمَنْ شُكْرِ اللَّهِ لِصَلَاحِهِمَا. Allah was grateful for their parents being righteous in such city, in such place where so many stingy people, miser people, even the villages, no one of them even offered to host Musa, not a single one in the whole entire village, to see how corrupt society this is, how bad society this is. So to find in this society righteous people and good people, that's a good sign. And Allah was grateful for them for that, to the extent that He made Musa and Al-Khadir work as a construction workers for their children. Did you see how what righteousness lead to? Allah made two prophets work as a construction workers for these two boys, building the wall for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلْيَخْشَ الَّذِينَ لَوْ تَرَكُوا مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّةً ضِعَافًا خَافُوا عَلَيْهِمْ. There is people who worry about their children. If I die, my kids are young. My kids don't have enough money for college. My kids, who's going to take care of them? My kids, who's going to do this to them? We all have these thoughts. We worry about the future of our children. Anyone here has a children who's not worried about their future? Most of us do, especially if they are very young and you're still young in time. So what should I do? Allah told us. The solution is not only in making more money. The solution is not only in that. That's one of the ways you should work. لأن تترك, to leave your family أغنياء, better than to leave them يتكففون الناس. You leave them asking and begging people for money. That's for sure. But Allah said in the Quran, فَلْيَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَلْيَقُولُوا قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا. Let them fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let them be righteous. Because that's what really, in the end of the day, will matter of protecting your children. Can Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, rahimahullah, يزيد في صلاة الليل. He used to increase his night prayers. And he would say, إنما أزيد في صلاتي من أجل صلاحك يا ولدي وصلاح أبنائك. I only pray in the night more just because I want my children to be righteous. Shaykh Muhammad al-Sharif told me a long time ago something, and I found it very true. He told me, Shaykh Waleed, I didn't find yet حافظ للقرآن, someone who memorized the Quran, unless one of his parents makes qiyam al-layl. Most of the people who huffaz, you'll find their parents, one of them or their grandparents, memorize the Quran, يعني read, make qiyam al-layl in a regular basis. And that's very true. You want your children to be righteous, increase your ibadah, increase your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz said, the righteous parent, okay, it is the seventh grandparent, not the immediate grandparent. It was the seventh. And still Allah protect through the whole generations because of that old grandparent. It doesn't seem to be the seventh. I don't know where he brought that from. But even if he said that, even if that is true, basically the righteousness is still in the family. I guess Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to reach the age of puberty and وَيَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّهُمَا. أشدهما يعني the age of puberty, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا مَالَ الْيَتِيمِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ حَتَّى يَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّهُ. Yani don't touch the orphan's money until they reach the age of puberty. Surah Al-An'am, verse 152. And is it age of puberty or al-ashud? So 15 or al-ashud? It is older than that. Al-ulama said no. Al-ashud is not the age of puberty actually. It is to reach the age of strength. What's that age? They said 28 to 33 or 40 years old. So Allah want to keep that money for them until they reach that, because that maturity, they are mature enough to know how to handle the money. Okay? So some said the age of puberty, some said no, should it means 28, 33, 40 years old even. And some of these numbers came from a verse in Surah Al-Ahqaf, حتى إذا بلغ أشده وبلغ 40 سنة. When you reach ashud, yani max or fully grown, and reach 40 years. So if you look at all these three incidents, the ship, the boy, and the wall, it was a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to good righteous people, that Allah won't protect them. He won't protect the children, He won't to protect the parents, and He wants to protect the owner of the ship. Okay? And all this I have not done from my own. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered me to do it. So when He shows this to Musa alayhi salam, he understood that Al-Khadr did not break any law, and actually whatever he did was a great benefit in his action than the bad thing that it appeared. So when he said this is ta'wil, this is the explanation, this is the reality of what I did, which is you could not have patience with and to be patient with by not asking me or opposing me or reprimanding me for what I did. Musa alayhi salam, at this point he felt sorry, and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, may Allah put His mercy on Musa. I wish that he had more patience so we can know more from the story of Al-Khadr. If you look at this story, Al-Ulama said, rahimahullah, something I found it interesting. Al-Ulama, rahimahullah, said, if you look at the story, and we end with this, you will find that through the life of Musa alayhi salam, there are similar things happened to him. If you study the life of Musa alayhi salam, just think about the life of Musa alayhi salam in general. You will find these three incidents with Al-Khadr happened to him. What that means? For instance, when he objected to Al-Khadr for making a hole in the ship, okay, because it's gonna drown and people will didn't happen this to Musa when he was a baby, when his mother put him in a basket which has a hole in it, and she threw him in the river, and he was very most likely to drown as well. But what saved him in that basket, in that basket or box? Allah's mercy. So the Allah who took care of you and your child, He also capable of taking care of this ship as well, and people will not die because of it. When he objected to the killing of this boy who have caused a lot of troubles, he also killed the Egyptians who was causing a lot of troubles, Al-Qibti in Egypt. But the outcome was better. He said, why didn't you charge them money for building the wall. That's right. And didn't you, Ya Musa, didn't charge the two girls money when you brought water for them? You did it for free for them as well. So if you look, everything that he objected to, at one point there is something similar to it happened to him, and the outcome was great for Musa alayhi salam. Before I mentioned actually 29 benefits from the story of Musa alayhi salam whenever he met Al-Khadr. And these are some more points that we can learn. Number one, this story, there is a great benefit in it when it comes to the concept of Al-Qadr. Understanding that what Allah decreed upon us is always the best of us, the best for us. Allah will never decree upon you something, the bad in it more than the good. Allah will never decree upon you something, the good and the bad in it are equal. Always there is more greater good and outcome from anything that Allah decreed upon us. That's why, and because of this fact, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never ever attributed evil to him in a direct format. Ever. وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ أَذْكُرَهُ. The shaitan made me forget about it. Attributed directly to the shaitan, not indirectly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَأَرَدْتُ أَنْ أَعِيبَهُ. I want to make hole in it. I want to make hole in the ship. The hole is something bad. He attributed to himself Al-Khadr. فَخَشِينَا أَن يُرْهِقَهُمَا طُغْيَانًا وَكُفْرًا. According to some of the opinion, I killed him because I don't want him to cause problem for them. But when it comes to attributing goodness to Allah, it's always direct. فَأَرَدْنَا أَن يُبْدِلَهُمَا رَبُّهُمَا خَيْرًا مِنْهُ زَكَاةً وَأَقْرَبَ رُحْمًا. Allah wants to replace the boy with another child, which is righteous. He attributes to Allah directly. فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَن يَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّهُمَا وَيَسْتَخْرِجَ كَنْزَهُمَا. Allah wants the two orphans to grow up and to get their money. So whenever khair, pure good, attributed directed to Allah. Any evil, it's not directed linked to Allah. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed evil things to happen in earth for a greater benefit, for a greater wisdom, for the outcome that it will turn out to be the best later on. And this is something we should always remember what Qatada said. You many times be happy with things, it will cause destruction to you. You be sad over things and you don't know how much Allah saved you from that thing. So be happy with that Allah decree upon you, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never decree upon you something that there is more bad in it than good. And the more you think about it, the more you understand the hikmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His actions. And you trust Him more in this regard. Also, number two, in this story, there is a very important qa'idah, a principle in Sharia, which is you always choose the lesser evil. So if you have to choose between two evil, you always choose the lesser evil. You always replace the big evil with the small one. If you have to have one, you choose the small over the big one. And basically, if you have two great options to have, you always aim for the better. Even if I'm going to lose a little bit of this, but I'm going to make this better for my community. Even if I lost a little bit, I'll go أعلى المصلحتين وأخف الضررين. Okay? That's why it's very important when you see some evil things, you might turn away from it, leave it away, because there is greater evil can happen. Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he used to see the Tatar, the Mughal, drinking in the streets of Baghdad, streets of Damascus, and in Syria, drinking alcohol, and some of them claim Muslims. So they told him, why don't you stop them from drinking? He said, because if I stop them from drinking, they will go and kill the people and kill the Muslims. So drinking is evil, but killing is another evil. So drinking prevents them from something greater evil. So you always have to keep that in mind. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar said, but you have to have a condition. قيد مهم جدا. قال ألا يكون غير معارض لما هو منصوص في الشريعة. As long as you do the less evil, but as long as doing this less evil is not something in Sharia clearly stated is haram. Like for example, somebody afraid that he will do zina. Okay? He will commit zina. So what I do, or liwat. So what I do, I go drink alcohol. Or you know what, just go, do some meth or like, cocaine or something like some drugs. Why? Because I want to prevent, this is less evil than, making zina. It's lesser evil using drugs than making zina. We said no, but using drugs and drinking alcohol is haram in Islam. You're not allowed to do that. You don't say, oh, أخف الضررين. You can't do that. Okay? You don't go to a prostitute and you say, what? I'm not going to do zina. I'm just going to foreplay. To protect myself from zina. No, haram. That's not lesser evil. That doesn't work this way because it is haram and it's you making a choice here. طيب. Or you kill someone because you think he might kill other people. You can't do that. Less evil. No, it's not happening yet. Number 3, you're allowed to أن تتصرف في مال الغير بما فيه مصلحة ولو بدون إذن الشخص. Sometimes you are allowed to, how can I do that, Sheikh Kamal? What would be the best way to put it? You're allowed sometimes to make decision on behalf of someone else, even related to financial decisions, if you know there is absolutely benefit from that and you protect that person from harm. Absolutely. Like for example, if I know that this money will be burned if it stayed here, I can take it and put it away. I have the right to do. Where do we get that from? Because he made a hole in other people's ship, in the ship, which is not his. Also, Al-Ulama rahimahullah ta'ala said something very good. Ibn Battal said that. Anybody knows who's Ibn Battal? You hear his name. Ibn Battal, he wrote one book very famous, Explanation of Sahih Bukhari. That's why he became very famous. He died 449 Hijri, 1056. Anyway, Ibn Battal said, as a comment on this story, he said, in this hadith, in this story, very important principle for a Muslim to learn, which is, you don't ever contradict Allah's law with your aql. Which is, because aql said, why would you make a hole? Aql said, why would you kill the boy? Aql said, why would you build the wall? Everything logically makes no sense. But after the Sharia explained to you, makes sense. So don't ever rush to reject the Quran, reject the Sunnah because you couldn't understand it. Because your logic cannot process it. So he said, from this we learn that we should not do that. Anyway, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah said, but Musa did not object to Al-Khadr because his logic didn't accept that. He objected to Al-Khadr because he has other evidence to show that this is haram. But still, I think he had a point as well, Ibn Battal rahimahullah ta'ala. Number 5, that sins are not one level. The worst is killing an innocent person. That's why when he made a hole in the ship, Musa's reaction was angry. But when he killed, it was furious. And he used a very strong language because that's sin higher than the other one. Number 6, making clear the wisdom and the reasoning behind the legislation is very important for people. It gives tranquility in the heart. It increases the iman. That's why Musa could not feel rest with the Khadr, because he could not understand the wisdom behind the action. He could not understand the reasoning behind the action. I'm saying this because in our da'wah, it helped people. It helped to support their iman, to make them understand the wisdom behind the legislation, the wisdom behind the orders of Allah, the wisdom behind the prohibition of things. It is very good tool if Musa couldn't handle it. So what about the average people today? So it's a very good method in da'wah, yes, to make them believe in Allah, but also explaining the reason and the hikmah. It is something important, our da'wah, to be used as a method. Also, number 7, look at the wisdom of Al-Khadr, how he dealt with the unjust ruler, the king who take the ships. He did not challenge the king. That's right. He didn't say, okay, Musa, you know what, let's take these poor people and make, attack or a militia. He knows he can't do that. He can't win that. So what he did, he basically tried to reduce the amount of injustice that this ruler does. I can avoid the confrontation and save the ship and everybody goes home happy. He did that. Alhamdulillah. Number 8, the people of the ship recognize Al-Khadr and they honor him and they let him ride for free. Even though he made a hole in their ship, did we ever heard that they were so angry? You don't deserve what we did to you. Did they do that? No. You know why? Because they trust him. And I think one lesson for our community to learn from this, we need to trust our leaders. We need to trust our du'at. We need to trust our mashayikh. We need to trust our imams. Even sometimes when you see, wouldn't something like 100% you personally take it, but just don't rush to abandon them or to accuse them. A little bit of trust, especially if someone you know for a very long time. You didn't just take anybody's statement over that person. Also, one of the things that it helped people, number 9, to be patient and to be able to practice with contentment is knowing the wisdom behind the actions. I mentioned that before. Number 10, did you notice that these people of the ship did not charge Al-Khadr any money? Because ikram ahl al-ilm wa ahl al-khair wajib. Taking care of the people of knowledge and the righteous people and serving them, it is permissible and it is something from the good manners. And also it shows you are allowed to accept that. I go to IHOP, he give me free, sometimes, free, a free pancake and I would say, okay, it's like, he does that. He has to, I'm just kidding. طيب, as long as you know that this gift is not minna, is not something that he will twist your arm with it. He use it against you. He buy you out. Okay? Or someone will show off later on. I feed this guy all the time. Did you see how big he is? It's because of me. Okay? So if this is the case, you should not accept it. Also, the teacher can excuse and ask for excusing the students if he did something that the student couldn't understand. He can tell them, I'm sorry. That's why he said, you couldn't handle all this information. ذلك تأويل ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا. 12, as a learner, you have to be patient. If Musa has more patience, he has more knowledge. But because he doesn't know patience, he lost the opportunity of learning more. Just be patient with the Shaykh. I know you have to go home now. You want to catch up with the debate. Just be patient with me. Number 3, attributing knowledge to Allah, referring the knowledge to Allah, one of the reasons for your knowledge to have barakah. أن تعلمني مما علمت. Teach me from what Allah have taught you. وما فعلته عن أمري. I didn't make it from my own. The more you say this knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more Allah bless your knowledge. The more you arrogant say this knowledge, إنما أوتيته على علم عندي قارون. This is my knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroy him and his knowledge and his wealth. Number 14, من لا يصبر على العلماء يفوته خير كثير. Those who have no patience with the scholars, they will miss so many good opportunities. If you read Al-A'mash's life, you'll say, how can you spend even an hour with a guy like that? But be being patient with the ulama will allow you to learn a lot of good. Some mashayikh, they absent a lot, they are late a lot, they do this, they like, but you have to be patient with them because in the end of the day, you win more than what you lose. Number 15, righteous person, Allah protect him in himself, protect his children, protect his wealth, as we learned earlier. 16, if you are a friend with someone, if you're a friend with someone, don't just cut that person off for the first mistake. So when Musa did this first mistake, Al-Khadr didn't say, خلاص فراق بيني وبينك. He gave them 3 chances. You know, give people chances. Don't just cut them off because 1 or 2 mistakes that they did. Okay? And guess what? He left Musa before he got angry at Musa. He left Musa before he got angry at Musa. He never expressed anger at Musa. But he doesn't want it to reach to that level. So sometimes if someone, he doesn't go along with you, there is too many problems between you and him or her, it's better to leave each other while you are friends than to leave each other after a nasty fight. That's right. And that's how Al-Khadr, very smart. He separated before it reached that level. Number 17, you can make a judgment according to the basically to the habit, to the custom of people. That's why Al-Khadr from the beginning, he said, you're gonna have patience with me. Because he knows that you cannot handle the stuff that I have. He was not unfair in his judgment assessment, but you can make an assessment according to the base signs and the qara'in that you have. But don't judge them according, but you can make an assumption. Number 18, make sure that you take care of your righteous children. Where do we get this from? Make sure you take care of your kids. Because they left for them what? Treasure. They take care, they made it, have a money and they bury it for them. Why didn't they give it to someone else to save it for them? Because the whole village are stingy. If you give it to anyone in the village, we'll never give it back to the children. That's why they have to hire it to bury it. Is that clear? So, but they save the money for the children. So make sure that you take care of your children. Also, one of the benefit استحباب العناية بأولاد الصالحين. Take care of the children of the righteous and the good people of your community. Yani Allah, inshallah, give us all of us a good long life. But if I die today, and I have children I leave behind me, I'll expect the community will be the first one to come. So this is the children of our Shaykh. We'll take care of them. Yeah, alhamdulillah, today I had one of the brothers, I don't ask for anyone to help me. I always love to pay for my food and for my services. Okay? I would love to do that. But you know what? Even my daughter went to someone today and he said, no, I'm not going to charge you any money. You're Shaykh Waleed's daughter. But this is a karam. This is the nobility. If Shaykh Salah Sawi's son comes and need help, I'll never charge him for anything if I have my own, a alim, like scholars. So it's part of paying or showing the help to the ulama, to the du'at. Also, this story, it does not have anything that justify making haram things. Because some Sufis take lessons from this story to justify doing haram things. So he will fornicate. He will make liwat, like homosexual action. And he said, since Al-Khadr did all haram things and Allah allowed it for him. No. Al-Khadr didn't do a single thing haram. Why? Because he said, وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِ. Not all Sufis. This is just for very extreme groups like drive rules like that. It's not all Sufis who say that. Also, person is excused if he truly forgot. لا تؤاخذني بما نسيت. Don't hold me accountable for what I forgot. So if somebody truly forgot, he's excused. And we talked more about that before. Ikram al-dayf, wajib. Being generous with your guests is wajib, especially those who are travelers. So if in the masjid you see someone coming out of town, we should show don't be like that village. Don't be like that. If we see someone come to the community in our masjid, no stranger, just don't go away. Turn your back. Everybody in the community should say, hey, I can host you. I can take you for dinner. That's the akhlaq. Otherwise, we became that like that village that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. Number 22, al-miskeen, the person who's poor, can be poor even if he has a job. Why? Because they have a ship, they work in the ship, but they still are poor. Because this idea that people say because he makes money, it means he's not poor anymore. No, people work and make money, but they're still poor. They could not cover all their expenses. Number 23, yes, true, parents affect their children. But from this story, we know that children affect parents as well. So be very careful the impact of your children on you. That's why we ask Allah salahud dhurriya, righteous children. Why? So they will not affect us negatively. That's right. And they will not be fitna for us in our deen and dunya. Number 24, it is very good to be in the company of someone who is older than you, someone who has more than you. Why? Because you learn a lot from that elder. Where is this from the story? Can anybody figure it out? Where in the story someone in the company of an older person? Al-Khadr is not older than Musa, we don't know. Maybe he's younger. Ya salam alayk. Yusha ibn Nun. And Allah referred to Fatah, young man. So this young man was in the company of Musa alayhi salam, who's definitely old because he became a prophet at the age of 40. So he is older, and this is a young boy. You know, it's very important for young man to be in a company of older person, like big brother, as we say. This program is very good. Why? Because the older one will yurabbi, basically give advice, teach him skills in life, correct him. And the young man will learn, will serve, will help. And Musa alayhi salam, he truly succeeded in raising this Yusha ibn Nun to be an ideal person that Allah even chose him to be what? A prophet. And he is the one who entered Jerusalem because Musa died before entering Jerusalem, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let Yusha lead the children of Israel to enter Jerusalem. These are 24 lessons that I can think of from the story of Al-Khadr and Musa alayhi salam. And if anyone here has a point that would like to share from the brothers and sisters, welcome to do so as well. Otherwise, I will see you inshallah next week and we'll talk about the Quran. So anybody has a point would like to say?